What is happening? What's going on with the podcast family, YouTube family? My name is Braxton Critcher, and this is good news in auto repair. I don't know about you, but I just love a good news story. Like when I've had a hard day or just not been my week, when I get to hear of, hey, this person did this for somebody else and they didn't have to, like that brightens my day, puts a smile on my face. We need more of that. We just need more of that in life, and we need more of that in the auto repair industry. So that's what this podcast is all about. It's good news in auto repair. We're just sharing stories of what people do for people. Hey, by the way, want to let you know about our sponsor, Auto Fix Auto Shop Coaching, Chris Cotton and his team over there. They're all about good news in auto repair, just like I am, because they understand that when you do good things for your community, people around you, that actually helps your repair shop. It's sort of a way of marketing. It brightens your mood. It really can improve morale with technicians. If you're looking for a way to improve your shop, do some good things, but also reach out to Chris and tell him that you appreciate his sponsorship of Good News in Auto Repair. Link in the show notes to Auto Fix Auto Shop Coaching and Chris Cotton. Thanks for joining us. If you have not subscribed to this podcast channel, you can do that now. You'll get notifications for new episodes of automotive repair news today and good news in auto repair, along with the YouTube channel. Hit subscribe there and comment with your thoughts about what's happening today. Ed Rosa is our guest. He is with Fix It Forward in Florida and excited to talk about just some good stuff. So what's up, Ed? How you doing?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, man. So I'm really excited to hear about what you're doing because it seems like it's pretty fresh. Like it's mostly in the last 365. So
Yes,
I guess tell us a little about you and then share about Fix It Forward.
Okay, so I'll start with a little bit about me. I'm a retired Army intel guy. I was in the Army for 20 years. Quick 20 years went by, it flew by. I did 3 tours in Iraq and I did 2 tours in Afghanistan, combat tours. I retired in 2019, and right before I retired, about 5 years prior to my retirement, I started having issues with PTSD. And I've dealt with that for quite a while now. Once I retired, just like I guess any other retirement, my plan was to play golf and do nothing, and relax all day, right? Because I've done enough, and that plan didn't work out, right? So about 2 weeks into it, I was going insane because I had nothing to do. My PTSD was going out of control. Ended up in the hospital, in and out, because of my depression and the PTSD. And I realized, man, I have to keep my mind busy. I have to do something to give me a purpose. I think that's part of the problem. I lost my purpose in life. My purpose was the military. That was my life for 20 years. So I started fixing friends' cars, neighbors, my wife's coworkers. You know, if they had a car that needed to be fixed, I said, hey, just buy the parts. I'll fix it for you. You know, I won't charge you. It's just something for me to do to keep my mind busy.
Sure.
And I realized that it was helping me. You know, it's keeping my mind active. I've always fixed my own cars all my life. I like fixing things. So I realized it was therapeutic for me. And then I realized my wife's friends started telling other friends, and those friends telling other friends. And before I knew it, I had calls from people that I didn't know saying, hey, I heard you fix cars. Can you fix mine? I just can't afford it. And I realized, hey man, this is a big problem. You know, it's happening so often. Prices are so high, people can't afford to fix their cars. I was literally in bed one night, and I decided, out of the blue, 10:30 o'clock at night, I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna start a nonprofit. I'm gonna do this, you know, full time, and hopefully, you know, get a couple of bucks here and there, and help, you know, a few cars when I can. And I started the paperwork for the nonprofit, and that was in January this year. So it was pretty quick. I did all the paperwork myself. I started the nonprofit officially. I became a nonprofit on the 23rd of January, and I'm telling you, man, it exploded. It exploded more faster than I expected. I started getting donations. I started a GoFundMe. I started getting donations pretty quickly. I was surprised I did hassle all my friends and former military buddies. I'm like, hey, send me some money. I'm doing this. I need your help. So, and a lot of people responded to that. And the applications and people asking for assistance has never stopped.
Hmm.
It has been a blessing. The amount of people that are in need of help and the amount of people that are donating that are making it possible for me to do what I do. And I'm the only one in at least in the state of Florida. I'm the only one that's doing it. There's in nationwide. I think I've found that people that have reached out to me, a few organizations that do either low cost repairs, you know, $5, $10 an hour repair labor cost, but nobody's doing absolutely 100% free cost like I'm doing. I'm buying the parts, I'm doing the work, I'm doing everything free. So it's a unique idea, and it's one that's needed out there. Absolutely.
So you've had no experience in the automotive industry.
No, other than fixing my own cars and fixing friends' cars, and just being a just a regular handyman in my house and fixing cars since I was a teenager. I was not a technician. I never worked at a shop. I've never worked as a technician anywhere other than my own garage.
Okay, so what when somebody like hears about Fix It Forward, what are the requirements for your nonprofit of who you service, like who you are? Because I mean, like you said, it blew up, and you're the
Mm-hmm.
only dude. So
Yeah,
I mean, you can only do so much. Like what? How do
absolutely.
you filter that?
So a couple of ways. One is my priority is the homeless and disabled veterans. So there is an application process on my website, and you fill out the application, and there's some documentation that you have to provide, proof of income and all that. If you're a veteran, DD 214, just to make sure, because there's a lot of good people, but there's people that want to take advantage of the system too. So I have to weed that out. You can earn more than 200% above the federal poverty level, the guidelines. So that's posted on the website. So once they send the proof of income, I can determine, okay, you are within the guidelines for income. And then if you are a homeless person, you are on top of the list as far as priority. If you're a disabled veteran, if you're a single parent or single head of the household, low income, you're on the list. You qualify. The second way that I kind of not weeded, but kind of figure out who goes first on the list is what's wrong with the car. I try to focus on safety issues. So if you have bad brakes, bad suspension, things like that are a safety concern, then you're at the top of the list.
Right.
If you have a starter issue, it's annoying. Sometimes it starts, sometimes it doesn't. You're gonna get the help, but the person that needs brakes or suspension will get the help first because it's a safety issue. And things that I can and cannot do. Right, I'm a mobile mechanic. I have an old van. I put all my tools. I empty my garage. Put all my tools in my van, and I come to them.
So you're mobile. Okay, so
I'm
that's
mobile.
all
Yeah,
right.
I'm mobile. So I put all my
How
tools
far do you
there.
travel?
So I have not don't know if you're familiar with Central Florida, but I covered three counties in Central Florida: Volusia, Orange County, and Seminole County, which is it's a lot. When I first started, I started doing all of Central Florida, um, and I realized I was driving sometimes 2 3 hours to go to a car, and I'm like, this is not practical. This is not really. The amount of people I'm going to be able to help is going to be reduced because I'm spending so much time driving. I kind of reduced my area of service to three counties, which is still a lot, but I'm able to manage it a little bit better.
Yeah.
So I'm not driving, I'm not on the road a lot. And what I do is I try to plan. If I have three cars in Orange County, I try to do them, at the same day if it's diagnostic, so that I'm not driving back and forth.
Yeah. So, I think community impact is so needed. Talking
Hmm.
about good stuff is needed, but just people like you that have a heart for others. And I mean, you don't know any of these people that
No.
you're servicing. I mean, you don't know them, and you still have a heart for other people. But what kind of impact do you think this is making on these people and these communities?
I mean, the impact is beyond anything I expected. Right? I thought I'll help somebody. I'll help myself. It's therapy for me, so I'm helping them, but I'm helping myself as well. And like I said, it's going to be 1 or 2 cars a month, and that'll be it. The stories I'm hearing, which is, by the way, one of the things that I love is, I'm fixing your car, and I'm talking to you. I'm having a conversation. I'm
Right.
learning history. I'm learning your story, especially the wounded veterans, disabled veterans, and the homeless. Everybody has a story, and I'm fixing your car, and I'm learning about you and your story, which I love. But everything from, if I don't fix my car, I'm going to lose my job, to I have to make a decision. Do I pay the rent, or do I fix my car? If I don't go to work, I'm going to be homeless. And these are things that I hear every day. And it's something that people don't really understand, that the problem is way bigger than just my car is not working. That
Yeah.
it is a gateway to homelessness. You think about it. You lose your car, you can't go to work. Now you're homeless. Now you can't pay the rent, and you're homeless. Especially in the economy the way it is now. Uh, so I've heard so many things. I've helped families, whole families that are in living in their car,
Mm.
and have no AC. And nighttime in Florida in the summer is super hot. Uh,
Yeah.
so that right there is not an inconvenience. That's life threatening, right?
Right.
And the that's one of the things that I think I've connected with the community a lot more now that I'm out there and I'm seeing the problem, because especially homelessness. Homelessness has now been it's. I have a special place in my heart for people that are homeless. Right, a lot of people think homeless is a bum in the street that has mental problems or drug addiction or alcohol problems. In reality, 40% of Americans that are homeless have a full-time job, which is something that I didn't know before, and I know now. These are people that are working that make too much money for government help, but not enough money to make it through, and are living in their cars, right? And I realized that doing this, and fixing their cars, being able for them to be mobile, and move around, because they have to move around in different places where they stay at night, is crucial for their survival. And for me to be able to help them, it's just been a blessing for me.
How has this helped you? You talked about your PTSD from the military,
Hmm.
and you were really struggling there for the first couple of weeks. Like,
Yeah,
what's happened since you started
yeah,
this?
tremendously. I mean, I'm still on medication, right? I'm not on as many medications as I used to be. I am not having the symptoms that I used to have. Well, PTSD is something that's a lifelong struggle, right? I'm gonna deal with this the rest of my life. What changes is how easy you manage it, or how well you're able. You have the tools to manage the symptoms, and I think this, keeping my mind busy, giving me that, that it's kind of hard to explain that sense, that feeling that you get when you help somebody else. I mean, at least I get that. I get that feeling in my soul, right? That I did something right. And I'll tell you, I saw a lot of bad things in combat, right? I saw the worst that humans can do to other humans. So I saw the darkness. And doing this, I want to show the light. I want to see the good in people. I want to see people that are being helped, and when they're being helped, they're trying to offer you whatever little they have. They're like, I don't have much, but I want to donate $5 to you because you helped me. And that's the good in people
Yeah.
that want to fix it forward. They want to help somebody else, because I helped them. And I think if we all do a little bit, this world would be a lot better if we do what we can when we can. You know what I mean?
Right.
So my symptoms are a lot better. I don't spend days and weeks at a time locked up in my room. I'm able to be in public places that I wasn't able to be before. It's just been incredible. I feel better than I felt, in the last 10 years, which is a blessing. My wife will tell you she notices people that know me notice, hey, the change, you've changed so much. You seem happier, and it's all because of what I'm doing.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it really, you highlight just a critical point where I think just society as a whole right now is sort of me focused a lot,
Yes.
and
Hmm.
that kind of attitude, it isolates you,
Hmm.
and you think about your needs, your desires, and you
Hmm.
wind up doing what you want to all the time. And next thing you know, you're depressed, you've got
Hmm.
anxiety, and
Yeah.
the numbers of all of these things are increasing. But
Yeah.
when I talk to people like you that obviously, you've dealt with some of that stuff, you know what
Hmm.
it's like, but when you get to step outside your door and help somebody else, and more than just help them with their physical need, you're talking to them,
Hmm.
you encourage them and you say, hey, it's all right. And while you're talking, that just having conversation with other people and picking them up when they're in a hard place, I mean,
Hmm.
goes a long way for them, and it does something like you said for you too. And I
Absolutely.
mean, I think we've kind of lost track of that, honestly,
Yeah. Yeah.
as a country,
Yeah.
as a world. And
Hmm.
it's amazing the stories that I get to hear about people like you that do that, and they're just like, wow, can you, like, if you would just go out of your way for 10 minutes, it
Hmm.
would make your week, it would change
Yeah.
your attitude. It's
Absolutely.
crazy what good does to people.
Yes, it's a ripple effect, right? It's a
Yeah.
chain. You do something, and something as simple as saying good morning, being friendly to somebody, that could change somebody's day.
Right.
And I think Robin Williams said that every people you meet is fighting a fight, an internal fight that you don't know anything about. And it's true, right? We all have problems, we all have our issues, and everybody's dealing with it. And sometimes just doing something good for them, being kind, it's a ripple effect. They'll
Yeah.
they'll they'll pass that on. They'll pay it forward. Which is why I named the organization Fix It Forward.
Yeah.
That's what I want. I want kindness to go, as a chain. I do something for you. Maybe in the future when you can and you're able, you will do something for somebody else.
Yeah.
And that's all it takes. That's really all it takes. But to your point, um, the problem that we have, especially with cars, right? We'll talk about car maintenance, basic car maintenance. Um, some people may say, well, what do I have to care if, this family has new brakes? Well, that family is on the road with you, right? And when they're driving an unsafe car, they're putting you and your family in danger also, right? Because
Yeah.
if they
Right.
lose their brakes, then there's an accident. So the problem we have is that unless it impacts me directly, it doesn't impact me. You know what I mean? So this problem is not my problem; it's somebody else's problem. Well, this is our problem. The
Yeah.
amount of people driving unsafe cars because they cannot afford basic maintenance is it's
Yeah.
ridiculous. It's
Yeah.
ridiculous, and it's not. This is not laziness. This is not taking advantage of the system. These are literally people that cannot afford. They're living paycheck to paycheck, and they just can't afford. If they fix the car, something has to drop. Groceries. And something has to be, taken off the list if they're going to fix the car. So it's a huge problem, and it's a safety concern.
Yeah. I mean, there's bad apples out there. I mean,
Hmm.
there are just some people that just don't get it
Right.
and won't. But I think for the most part, if other people just understand that we're really on the same team here.
Yeah.
I mean,
Absolutely.
we're in this together,
Yeah.
it like, I think that would do worlds of difference. I
Yes.
mean, there are definitely people that are going to disagree. You're not always going to agree on the
Hmm.
same political stuff.
Right.
But outside of some of those things,
Yeah.
when somebody has a job loss, or like what you're doing,
Hmm.
fixing someone's car that directly impacts them and they can't afford to fix it, I mean, that's not always their fault.
Right.
And if we can just understand that, as Americans, this
Hmm.
country, we're supposed to work together. We're on the same
Absolutely.
team here, and we can build each other up. And
Hmm.
man, it would be, I think it would be amazing. I don't
Yes.
I don't know if we'll ever get there. I'd love to see it, but if we could, as a majority of a population in this country, could have more people like that,
Yeah.
it'd be amazing. I
I,
think it would
I,
radically change our outlook
I
on the
agree.
world, our country.
I agree. The good thing is that, it's a fight worth fighting, right? We may never win this war. We may never get to that. But it's a fight, worth fighting. And as
Yeah.
long as a few people are trying, the world will be a better place. It will. There's a lot of good people I've linked up with a lot of homeless shelters, a lot of food pantries in the area. Some of these homeless shelters will send me their their population that are in the shelters that need car repairs. So that's another thing that I've learned: how many people are out there actually doing the help. But we don't hear the good; we hear the bad, like you
Right.
mentioned earlier. We hear the bad; we never hear the good. And there are so many people that are busting their butts trying to make a difference. You just don't hear about them, but they're out there. So we're out there, and we're not going to quit, and we're going to keep going.
So a lot of the listeners and the viewers that know me know that I've been in the automotive industry for most of this year. But
Hmm.
outside of that, I worked for radio stations. I did videos and still do a
Hmm.
lot of that stuff. But my knowledge of the industry is not all that expansive. It's fairly limited. And so I'm
Right.
learning a lot about the industry. But what
Hmm.
I do know is that technology is pretty crazy. Like
Yeah.
the working on cars today is not like working on cars even in 2005.
No. No.
And so, I mean, I imagine that there's some challenges that you face with that. So, I mean,
Good.
what are your limitations? Like, what are you
Okay.
able to actually repair,
Okay.
with a mobile unit, like yourself?
So I have there's two limitations on me, right? One is my capability because I'm a mobile mechanic, right? I don't have a lift.
Right.
So
Yep.
I don't work in transmissions. I don't work on, I don't do, head gasket or, engine overhauls. I don't do that. I do light mechanic work, suspension, hitting, cooling system, starting systems, things like that. I can work on that. I do a little bit. One of the things is the car has to be running. If the car is what we call a crank no start, um, it depends on the situation. I usually don't deal with that just because I don't have the time. I try to limit myself to about 2 hours per car
Sure.
to get the things done, 2 to 3 hours, because 90% of the time I'm in a parking lot. If the person's homeless, I'm at a Walmart parking lot or somewhere in the side of the street. So I can't really be there for 6 hours, dropping a transmission and fixing it, right? So,
Yeah.
or try to diagnose an issue. Um, but so like mechanic work is what I do. Technology wise, because of the population that I'm helping, I'm working on older cars. Uh,
Sure. Yeah.
so, if you put in an application for help and you have a 2024 brand new car, odds are that you're not going to get the help from me.
Yeah. Right.
I'm trying to help people that don't can't afford a brand new car. What I did is I did go. I started going to school. Right after I did this, I go to mechanic school. And the reason why I started going there and I enrolled in school for it is to learn more of the new technology, the electric vehicles, the hybrid vehicles, which I know nothing about. I took a few classes on that, ASC testing, just to
So,
get
are
my
you
skills
working
a little
towards
bit.
some certifications?
I'm working towards certifications,
Oh,
yes.
wow. Okay. Cool.
So I'm licensed in the state of Florida. I'm insured. I try to do everything, legally, everything the way it's supposed to be. So I am licensed in the state of Florida as a mechanic shop, because you don't really need a license as a mechanic in Florida. But as a mechanic shop, I'm licensed. I'm registered. I'm taking this. I'm going. So my day starts at 3:30 in the morning. So I wake up at 3:30 in the morning every day. Uh, I go to school from 6 in the morning to 9 in the morning, and it's an hour away. So by 4:30, I'm on the road. I get to school, and it's auto mechanic school, UTI. And then at 9 o'clock, when I leave school, I change my shirt, put on my fix it forward shirt, and I head out and start working on cars. usually till maybe
Man,
3 or 4 in the afternoon, and that's Monday through Friday.
wow, you are driven.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
that military
yeah.
background, though, I
That
guess.
that is a military background. You know who needs sleep, right? Sleep is overrated sometimes. But yeah, I have to do it. It's like I said, it's what drives me. It's my purpose in life right now, other than my family. And it's that it's to do what I do.
Yeah. Somebody watching, listening to our conversation here, and somebody's like, they've always sort of felt like they could do more for their community, but didn't really know how. Or maybe they had some ideas, but were just, kind of nervous about taking that
Right?
that step.
Yeah.
I mean, it for some people, it could be a financial commitment that maybe they aren't able to do, or they don't know how to check those boxes.
Hmm.
I mean, what kind of encouragement would you give, or what would you say to somebody that wants to do something for their community but doesn't really know what?
Right. I mean, I think you got to follow your heart. And if you think it's the right thing to do and it's in your heart, I say, you go for it. What's the worst that could happen, right? Try to find people that are helping the community, that are doing things, maybe not necessarily the same or similar to your idea, but people that are in the helping others, business, and talk to them. Talk to them. Hey, how did you start? Everything when it starts is everything is hard. Right now it's only me doing everything. So it's really hard. It's just like starting a business. It's really the same thing. The only difference is you're not making money, right? It's a non-profit. There's no profits involved, but it's like it's running a business. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. Follow your heart. Do your research. I did my research in the state of Florida, what I needed to become a nonprofit, what I needed to run this, and I did it. I took my time. Um, I was very driven, so I think I did it faster than most people would. Just because I don't have another job, so all I have was time to
Yeah,
research
right. And you
do
wake
what
up
I have
at
to do.
3:30, so you don't sleep. You got more
Exactly.
time than most of us.
Exactly. So my day is pretty long, so I took advantage of that. But I say, it's needed out there. If it's in your heart, follow your heart, and go for it. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to do it. There's you know a lot of people are willing to donate, and they donate what they can. I've had donations, individual donations of $1,000 and $5, and everything helps. And if you start that and you want to do good, people will help you. People will say, all right, let me give them a couple of bucks. So this is great, especially if your idea is unique. And it's not only unique, but if you're actually you're addressing a concern or a problem that's out there, people will see it, and people it'll click. A lot of people, I mean, I get people that stop me in the street. They recognize me. They're like, "Hey, you're that Fix It Forward guy. It's so great what you're doing. My neighbor, my cousin, my brother, whoever has have problems with fixing their cars, and they couldn't afford it. And I wish they would have known about you before. This is great. So they know the problems out there, so they're willing to help. And it like we said earlier, it takes a village. I can't do what I do without people donating. Uh, I can't do it. I've had to, slow down and shut down for a couple of days because I ran out of funds. Uh, I was using my own funds for a long time, but that started to become a problem. Obviously, in my own financials, so I can't do it anymore. My wife told me that.
Right,
So
right, right.
I have to only use donations. So, but like I said, I've been blessed. I've only had to shut down for 2 days. Every time I'm running out of money, somebody donates a couple
Mm.
of bucks, $100 here, $200 there. I mean, $5 here, and I've been able to keep going. So I haven't really stopped because of finances. I just got that, as you saw in the article, that huge donation from Advance Auto and the
Yeah, that was
NASCAR
huge.
Foundation, which was a blessing. I wasn't expecting that, but I
Did you
think
apply for that, or did they just
so.
find you?
No. So what I did is I send letters to corporations. I'm trying to find corporate sponsorship, or a corporation that would donate every year or every month.
Yeah.
to help me keep going. And I sent a letter to Advanced Auto. I use 95% of the parts I buy for Advanced Auto. It's close by to the house, and it's, I get them from there. So I sent a letter to the corporate offices explaining kind of this conversation we're having in a letter. Hey, this is what I do. And anything that, and I was kind of hoping for, hey, here's a discount on parts, And about a week after I sent the letter, this guy called me. He's the I think he's the manager or in charge of the public relations office, Angus. And he's like, man, I read your letter. I love what you're doing. He took it as personal. He's like, I'm gonna see if I can help you. Let me see what I can do. And, I was expecting a donation from Advanced Auto. He never told me how much. He said, it's not a lot, but it's not a little. It'll help you, and anything helps. So I wasn't expecting anything. And when we did the ceremony, that's where I learned. Literally, when they handed me the check, is when I learned that NASCAR Foundation have heard about me, and they matched their donation. So it was incredible. It was an incredible day.
That's a blessing.
Yes, it is. It was such a blessing. I mean, I had 30 people on the waiting list that I needed the money. And now I have enough money that I think I can get through all those 30 people and be able to help those. It's going to take me a little bit, but I have enough money now to be able to take that waiting list. People that have been waiting for a month to get their car ready, I'll be able to do it. So I'm hitting the road hard now that I am able to buy parts.
What's next? Like, I think you're probably in the meat of trying to figure out day to day, but do you have a plan for the future?
I have a plan for the future. My dream is to take this national and to be able to have this in different cities, different states. I want to grow in Florida and have more than one vehicle, more than one mechanic working, and then grow a national. And I think I can. I think it's just a matter of time. It's just knowing the right people and being in the right place at the right time. And all it takes is one big sponsor to say, hey, I believe in you. I believe in what you're doing. Let's make this happen. And then it'll happen. I'm not quitting. My desire to help is there. The need is there. So I'm going to keep going. But I want to grow this to help as many people as I can.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the longer you keep doing this, just like Advance, people are going to notice.
Exactly.
And I mean, it's just going to grow. So, brace yourself.
Yes. I'm ready for it, man. That's a problem I want to have. To grow. That's a problem I want to have. And right now, I mean, I have mechanics. I have, shout out to Nick. Nick is a local guy here in Durand, and he's really good working on cars. And he calls me. He's like, "Hey, I'm off this weekend. If you have a car, bring it to the house." So I bring it to him, and he helps me fix cars. So I have guys that are willing to come out and help me out. So there's people that text me all the time, and I wish I had the time, but call me if I have time. I'll help you fix the car. Or bring it to my shop. I'll give you a discount. So I'm growing that network, and hopefully it'll grow into something bigger, like I said. So I'm looking forward to it.
If I've learned anything talking to you today, Ed, I think it will. I think it will.
Thank you. Thank you for that. I appreciate it.
Well, dude, you're awesome. I mean, thank you for doing what you're doing. I mean, you've got a good heart. You've got a good heart. We need more people like you in the automotive industry and just in this country in general, in this world in general. So just keep it up, man. Keep it up, man. We're behind you.
Thank you. I appreciate it. And hey, I love what you're doing too. You're bringing you're bringing technicians together by doing this too. So it's great. I think it's great. I'm happy that you found me.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. And then I just want to quick before we leave, just anybody, your listeners, if you want to donate, just visit my website, fixitforward.net. There's a donation button right there. All donations are tax deductible, obviously, and 90% of donations go straight to buying parts. The other overhead cost that I have is gas. and maybe a tool here or there, but it's gas, tolls, and parts. So if you want to help out, anything helps, just go to the website and click that donate button.
Yeah, and I'll put your website, social media links, all in the notes of this podcast and YouTube video. So if you're watching, listening, and you want to learn more, you want to donate, check out the website and the social links for Ed and Fix It Forward. So we'll do that too.
Awesome.
Yep. Well, I always want to hear from you. So if you're watching this video, listening to this podcast, I want to hear from you about maybe somebody else that you have heard about that's like Ed. He's found a couple, but he doesn't know of a lot of people like this that are around the country. And if you know of a way that maybe you'd like to partner with Ed, like he was talking about, trying to grow this in Florida and then taking the next step and going nationwide. If you know of a way you can help, if you know of somebody that might be interested, I'm sure Ed would like to hear from you. So let me know in the comments. You can reach out to Ed. And as always, like, subscribe, share, and follow along on social media for automotive repair news today and good news in auto repair, because that's the idea, to share what's happening in the industry, the news to keep you informed, to help you grow, but also share what's good. Put a smile on your face and just talk to more people like Ed, because that's good stuff. And if we can be on the same team and unite together and pick each other up when we need it, overall, it's going to be way better for our country, us individually. And some of those things that you're dealing with right now, pouring into somebody else's life, it might seem counterintuitive, but that's going to help you in the long term. So thanks for watching this video and checking out this podcast. It's good news in auto repair.